Alright everyone, welcome back to the channel. I hope you've caught up with the first couple of episodes. We're going to dive right in because there's lots of information that we have to investigate. This episode is going to find us interviewing Janice, so let's jump right in.
All right, Janice, we are recording. Today is September 19th. I am Detective Martin Ruiz, badge number 7621, and with me here today is Janice Burkes. So Janice, let's please start with you spelling your first and last name for me.
JANICE BURKES.
And can you please acknowledge that this statement is being video and audio recorded and that you are consenting to that recording?
Yes, sir, I do consent.
And lastly, please acknowledge that we have already gone over your rights and that you are willfully making this statement.
Yes, sir, we've already gone over my rights.
Well, thank you, Janice. So let's just start with a little bit of context here. Now, you live next door to Daniel Murphy and his girlfriend, Emma Richardson. Is that correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And about how long have you lived at that residence?
Oh, I've lived there about 1.5 years, sir.
And prior to that, you had spent some time in prison. Is that right?
Yes, sir, 9 years.
And that was for murder, correct?
Yes, sir.
Do you mind telling me what happened?
Okay.
Well, it's not a very complicated story. My husband at the time was very violent, very physical with me, and it had been going on a lot longer than I care to admit. One night, he beat me up pretty bad. Seemed like he was never going to stop. So I stopped him. That's it.
And how is life treating you these days?
I can't complain, sir. I'm alive. I'm healthy. I got a steady job. Just trying to live life right. God's been good to me.
That's good. That's real good. So what is it that you do for work?
I work collections. I call people who owe money on behalf of various different companies.
And you do this from home?
Yes, sir. That's right.
Now, I don't mean to be rude or judgmental or anything like that, but I'm curious, how is it that you landed in that particular neighborhood? Because it seems like it would be a bit too pricey for someone with a job such as yours. Now, that is assuming that you do live alone.
Oh, yes, sir, I do live alone. That house belonged to my mother. She bought it about 20 years ago. She paid it off early. And when she died about 10 months ago, she left it to me.
Well, thank you for that explanation. That certainly makes sense. Now, I am curious, how well did you know Daniel and Emma?
Oh, I know Emma pretty well. Daniel, not so much. When I moved in about 1.5 years ago, Daniel had already been living there. They're pretty good neighbors. They're quiet. They stick to themselves. No parties or anything like that. I can't remember them ever having anyone over, in fact. Rebecca, their daughter, lives with them. She's pretty quiet too. She sticks to herself. But honestly, in general, the whole neighborhood's pretty quiet, so they're no exception.
So why is it that you got to know Emma more than Daniel?
Well, it seems like Daniel works very long hours. But Emma works 9 to 5, so I see her from time to time when I went on my usual walks, and we'd stop and chat for a bit. She was one of the few people in the neighborhood who didn't look at me funny, you know? I mean, it's a small town where it gets around fast, and I'm pretty sure most of my neighbors knew about my past. They were scared, they kept their distance, but Emma, she treated me like a normal person, and I really appreciated that. And I always felt like I should kind of look out for her too, I guess.
Now, what about Charles? What do you know about him?
Well, who's Charles?
So Charles, that's Charles Humphreys. That is Emma's ex-husband.
Oh, that's right. I don't know much about him. I didn't ever meet him, and I don't remember Emma ever really talking about him. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, I don't know much about him.
So, given your relationship with Emma, I am assuming that you have a good explanation as to why you were seen entering and leaving their house the day that Daniel was killed?
Oh, yes, I do. The mail carrier had accidentally left some of their mail in my mailbox that day. We've had some trouble with porch pirates recently, so I thought I should just take it over. I didn't want to leave it on their doorstep or anything, so Emma had told me about the spare key to use in case of emergencies or whatever, so I just used the spare key. I opened the door, I dropped the mail off in the...
Okay, sorry to butt in here, but if you haven't been keeping up or if you've forgotten, what she's saying isn't true. She showed up with no mail in her hands, no bag, no purse, nothing in her pockets, and she got the key out of the planter and she went in for about, was it 2 or 3 minutes? I wrote some notes yesterday, but I forgot to grab them. So she's not being truthful right now.
entryway, and I left.
Now, was Daniel home?
Oh, not to my knowledge. I mean, his car wasn't in the driveway. That's where he usually parks it. And I didn't see him in the house either.
Now, Janice, are you aware that Daniel had been shot and killed and that his body was found in that house?
Yes, officer. I was aware of that. The whole neighborhood was aware of that.
And so you didn't see him or his dead body when you went into that house to drop off that mail?
Oh, no. I mean, like I said, I just went in, dropped the mail off in the entryway, and then I left.
Look at how her body language has changed, how closed off and defensive her body is right now. That's concerning. And then on top of that, she lied about the mail situation. So she's hiding something. We don't want to put too much weight on the fact that she is a survivor of domestic violence, and she has what do you say for YouTube terms? She knocked someone off, so to speak, and went to jail for it for 9 years. I think it just said. In reading that text stream over to the right, she's a bit close to Emma. It seems like she's looking for a relationship or in a relationship with Emma. But that's just from the text messages. The simulator could be leading us astray, because remember, there is Charles who straight up lied and was very violent with the deceased. So they're giving us blame for each person so far. We just have to sort through it. So I said in episode 2 that I'm suspicious of Janice right here, because so far she's flying under the radar, so to speak, and she could be our killer in plain sight. So let's get back.
Janice, did you really go into that house to drop off mail?
No.
Yes, officer, I really went into that house to drop off mail.
Okay, I wish I could show you this video, but if I do, they'll keep talking and we'll miss valuable information. But at some point, I'm going to try and show you the video again. She had nothing in her hands. So.
All right. Well, look, Janice, we are going to take a real short break. I ask that you just sit here for a second. I will be right back, okay?
Okay.
All right.
All right, he's going to call me in a second. But as you can see, Janice is lying. Nothing in her hands. She's going to get the key from the flower pot. And the camera paused. Okay. The ringing phone paused the camera.
Okay, we've met the neighbor. I'm curious to know what you think about this Janice lady. You buy that story that she entered the house to drop off some mail? Let me know if you think she's lying, and I'll continue based on that. All right, talk soon.
All right. So as you can see for yourself, you know the answer to that question. Is Janice telling the truth about dropping off the mail? You see the answer here. And watch her face when she comes out. Okay, she goes in at 08:59 at 30 seconds. Just watch her face when she comes back out. Wow, the wind is blowing on the camera. That's pretty cool. So it's about to end. Now watch her face when she comes out. To me, she looks shocked. Like she saw something she shouldn't have seen. Watch her face. She looks worried to me. Alright, so we know the answer. She's not telling the truth, no.
Hey, so you don't buy that story, huh?
Nope.
Well, me neither. It's a bit too perfect. And, after reviewing that security footage again, her actions don't seem to match up at all.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can find out the real reason she entered that house. I'll get the interviews back up in just a few.
All right, what else? I hope you've been pausing when I picked these up. Janice and Rebecca, she's always sending love. I mean, maybe that's what maybe that's what women do. I'm sorry. But whenever okay, he's back.
This is a continuation with Janice Burkes. Now, Janice, according to you, the mail carrier had dropped off their mail at your mailbox by accident, right? And then you, I guess being the good Samaritan that you are, decided to bypass these potential porch pirates. So you then took that mail and you brought it directly into their home. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Someone's lying.
So Janice, what kind of mail was this?
If I remember correctly, it was just a few envelopes, I believe.
Come on.
So just a few envelopes. So why the urgency to drop off just a few envelopes? You couldn't wait until they got home?
I guess I could have. I didn't really give it that much thought. I just saw that I had their mail and I thought I'd bring it over to them, that's all.
What does this do?
Janice, you are lying to me.
Oh, you can get a close-up of her.
What do you mean, sir?
There she go. Look at her being guarded.
I mean that there is absolutely nothing that supports your statement whatsoever. Look, you having their mail is no reason to go inside of their home. You could have simply just held on to their mail, Janice. And please don't tell me that you were concerned with porch pirates, because porch pirates are looking for packages.
Not mail.
Okay, things that have actual value. They're not just looking for regular mail. Now, Janice, if you're going to lie to me, come up with something like like there was a check in the mail or something like that, because then it would be a little bit more believable. Now, Janice, you are still on probation. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Now, do you think that lying to a detective who is trying to solve a murder case, do you think that is going to be helpful? Look, Janice, that is considered obstruction of justice, okay? Now, you are not a stupid person, okay? You're not. So we are going to try this again. Why were you seen entering their house the day that Daniel was killed?
Is it breaking the case?
All right.
Tell it.
I heard a gunshot. I rushed over there to see if everything was okay. And when I entered the home, I looked around. That's when I saw Daniel lying there dead in the bedroom.
I figured she saw something.
I didn't know what to think, so I panicked and I just left.
So Janice, why did you lie about that?
Yeah.
Come on, sir. I went to prison for 9 years for killing my abusive husband. Then I'm seen leaving and entering a home where a man is killed. A man who is known to have physically abused his girlfriend. How do you think that looks?
Well, not very good, to be honest.
Okay, I am so sorry. I am so sorry. But as this information comes out, different scenarios pop in your head, and I think you guys are going through the same thing. Does she think she was maybe protecting Emma? I mean, she did rush over like she heard something, but was she going over there in a hurry to, in her mind, protect Emma by taking out Daniel? What do you think? Or do you think it's what the video showed? She heard the gunshot. Like the first video with Emma leaving, and she ran over, she took her bag to Emma's car. When Emma left, she came back. Well, maybe it's too early to tell. Let's jump back in.
Not very good at all.
All right, so just to make sure that I get this right, so you heard a gunshot, you go enter the house, you see Daniel and he's dead, and you lie to protect yourself. Is that basically it?
Yeah, that's it.
Possibly because she's on probation.
So you're telling me that you did not kill Daniel?
I did not kill Daniel.
So Daniel was already killed when you had entered that house?
Yes,
And Janice, why should I believe you?
because it's the truth.
The truth.
Yes, sir.
All right, we are going to put a pause on this for now, okay, Janice?
Please don't ask if I believe her, because I'm torn right now. I am torn right now. You've seen the evidence, photo evidence, which I'm not going to show because I'll tell you guys something in a minute. I know what he's going to inquire.
Well, that interview certainly adds a new dimension to this whole thing.
Yeah, it does.
That is, of course, if Janice is being honest about finding Daniel dead.
Right.
I honestly don't know. At this point, who knows?
Yeah, I'm stuck.
All right, I'm going to bring in Rebecca Humphreys, Emma and Charles's kid. Let's see if she can shed any more light on this case.
All right.
All right, let me go get her.
All right, cool.
We'll be back up in just a sec.
All right.
All right. Bye.
Later. These text messages, I'm sure, tell a story. Need to talk to you.
All right, Rebecca, we are recording. Today is September 19th. I am Detective Martin Ruiz, badge number 7621. And with me here today is Rebecca Humphreys. So Rebecca, can you please spell
Remember,
your first
Rebecca is
and
the
last
daughter.
name for me?
Yeah, first name is Rebecca. Last name Humphreys, Humphies.
Thank you, and can you please acknowledge that this statement is being video and audio recorded and that you consent to this recording?
Yes, I do.
And lastly, just acknowledge that we have already gone over your rights and that you are willfully making this statement.
Yes, I am.
All right, Rebecca, let's start with you telling me where you were at the day of Daniel's death.
Yeah, so that day I was over at my dad's house.
So you were at your dad's house, but you don't live with your dad, do you?
No, I don't, but I do stay with him sometimes.
And you were there the whole day?
Yeah, I don't really remember any reason to leave that day.
So can you remind me, how old are you?
I'm 20.
So you're 20.
Mhm.
And you are a student at Fisham Community College, is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
All right, I don't know if you can see it. She's asking her dad on September 10th if she can stay with him. You see it right here. Hey, Dad, can I stay with you tonight? He goes, yeah, of course, does something happen? And she goes, I'm at the hospital with Mom. I'll call you once she gets released. And Charles, her dad, is like, hospital, what happened? And she says, I'll call you soon. So was she there before? I could check your notes from psych class. I totally spaced and forgot we had class. You can check my notes. I'll email them to you. You effing rock. Okay. So much information.
So you didn't have any classes that day?
Well, I mean, yeah, I did, but paper that was due for my intro to psych class the next day, so I decided to stay home and focus on that instead, since my other classes weren't important.
Now your dad, he wasn't at home, right? He was at work?
Yeah, that's right. He usually doesn't get home until late in the evening.
So is there anyone that can corroborate that you were at your dad's house the whole day?
I mean, like, sort of. I work at the main coffee shop at the school, and I had texted one of my coworkers asking if he could cover my shift for that day.
So you didn't go to work that day either?
No, I didn't. Like I said, I wanted to focus on my paper.
Now I'm going to ask you a question, and please be honest, okay? Please. Do you think that either of your parents had something to do with Daniel's murder?
No, of course not.
Now, I'm not asking you if they killed him, just if they may have possibly had some involvement. Now, based on the history, you don't think that that's possible?
No, absolutely not. Like, no, I know my parents. It's not possible.
You never know a person.
So how long have you been living with Daniel and your mom?
We officially moved in like about a month ago or so, but my mom had practically been like living over there like 3 or 4 months before that.
And you were aware that there had been some domestic issues during that time between Daniel and your mom, correct?
Yeah.
Can you elaborate?
Well, first off, I want to like make sure that you know that the domestic issues, as you put it, weren't happening the whole time that I've been living there. It was kind of all recent, actually.
Sure. Gotcha. So yeah, please continue.
So, like, it's pretty straightforward, but I want to say like about a week and a half ago, I was in my room reading, and I heard some screaming and yelling and banging, and I went down to the kitchen, and I found my mom on the floor crying, and she was just obviously like in a lot of pain, and she was grabbing her right arm and just her and Daniel had gotten into some sort of an argument, and he pushed her to the ground, like, pretty damn hard.
So did you see him push her to the ground?
No, I didn't, but it was pretty obvious that that's what had happened.
Now, is this the only incident that you were aware of?
As far as I know, yeah. That's as far as I'm aware.
Now, this incident landed your mom in the hospital. I mean, she has a dislocated elbow.
Yeah, I know, I'm aware. I know.
You don't think that maybe your mom would want to seek some sort of revenge?
No, my mom wouldn't seek revenge. Like, you do know that she's the one who filed the police report, right?
Yes, I am aware of that.
Okay, so why would she file a police report if she was planning on killing him? Like, she wanted the police to get involved. That's literally the whole reason why she went to the police in the first place. She wanted them to deal with it.
All right, well, then what about your dad?
What about him?
Well, it seems that he and your mom are still on pretty decent terms, I mean, all things considered. Seems that he still cares for her. You don't think that maybe he acted out of a need to protect her?
No, absolutely not.
How can you be so sure?
Because I know my dad, like, that's not even close to the kind of person that he is. Like, he's not a murderer. Like, I don't even, like, I can't believe I even have to, like, say that to you.
Look, Rebecca, I know that this can be hard. Okay, I know that, but we have to think logically, right? Now, try to put your personal feelings aside as best as you can, all right? Now, do you really believe that your parents had nothing to do with Daniel's murder?
No, my parents had nothing to do with Daniel's murder. There's no way.
All right, fair enough. So look, we're going to take a short break, all right? I'm just going to ask that you sit here, and I'll be back in just a few, okay?
Okay.
We're being pulled in so many different directions. All of these text messages, she blew off her friend. She didn't go to class. She needed notes. She didn't hang out later. She didn't go to the... She had...
All right, so there's still a lot to unpack here.
Yeah, you're right.
But the main thing I really want to know right now is if you think she really believes her parents had nothing to do with Daniel's death. I mean, I know they're her parents and all, but the motivation is pretty easy to spot, especially when it comes to her mom.
Yeah.
I just can't tell if she's being honest or if she's blowing smoke up our ass. Look it over and tell me what your read is on her. Let me know if you think she really believes they had nothing to do with it. We'll go from there. All right. Bye.
I'm not seeing anything in the text messages that would lead me to believe that they're secretly talking about Daniel. I mean, I know Rebecca, the daughter, has some time unaccounted for. These are her text records. These are Emma's. There's nothing really outstanding. These are Daniel's. These are Charles. I mean, and these are Janice's. All right, what's the question? Help me out here, everyone. What do you think? Does Rebecca really believe her parents had nothing to do with the murder? Okay, she's 20 years old. She thinks the world of her parents. Even though her mom, what happened to her mom, it seems she still doesn't want to believe her mom would be capable of doing something like that when anyone would. So I know what I think, but what's the right answer to put for this simulator? Does Rebecca really believe her parents had nothing to do with the murder? I think she believes it, but in the back of her mind, she has to be going, you know, she has to know there's a possibility. And so are we thinking back to Charles? Are we thinking back to Janice? Because I'm still thinking about Janice. Janice just seems weird to me. The daughter, not so much. She hasn't given me any bell, so I'm gonna choose no. Does Rebecca really believe her parents had nothing to do with the murder? Yes, yes, she really believes that.
Hey, so you think she's being sincere?
I think so, man.
I can see that. She does seem to believe her parents weren't involved.
Don't
Now, whether they were or not, that's a whole other story.
Don't agree with me every time.
All right, let me get back in there.
All right.
Bye.
Later. I wish he wouldn't agree every time. Can we look at some more evidence?
Okay, this is a continuation with Rebecca Humphreys. So look, Rebecca, I do believe that you think your parents had nothing to do with Daniel's murder, okay? I do believe that.
Mm-hmm.
But look, we still cannot ignore the facts, okay? We can't. Now, are you aware that your dad was seen entering and leaving Daniel's house the day of the murder?
No, I didn't know that. I wasn't aware of that fact. No.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, the whole thing was caught on security cam.
Mm-hmm.
So now with this new information, does that change your perspective at all?
Right there.
No, not at all. I mean,
And right there.
if my dad was seen entering the house that day, then I'm sure he has a perfectly good reason for it, but murder's definitely not the reason.
No, he doesn't, Rebecca. He
It doesn't make any sense. It can't be.
There he is.
All right, so Rebecca, look, so if your parents were not involved and you were at your dad's house the whole day, then you tell me, what is your theory on what happened to Daniel?
Look, I don't know. I don't know, okay? I really don't. What I do know is that Daniel wasn't this perfect guy that everybody seems to think that he was.
Uh-oh, here we go.
I mean, he had two personalities. Sure, everybody saw the clean-cut business guy, but behind closed doors, it was a completely different story.
Here we go.
What do you mean?
I mean, he was mentally unstable, okay? He could be a real piece of shit, especially when he was drinking.
Tell it.
Probably got really drunk, got all depressed, and then just shot himself. I mean, I could see it happening. Have you guys ever considered that maybe nobody actually killed Daniel?
But you can't see that your mom could have possibly took him out either. That's crazy.
Yes, Rebecca, of course we've considered that. We've considered all possibilities.
Or her dad.
Okay, then I really don't know what to tell you, because that's all I can think of. I don't know.
See, it's the game.
So there's nothing else that you feel that I should know?
No, not that I can think of. No.
Well, not the game, the
All
simulator.
right, well then let's take a break. All right, you can step out of here for now, okay?
Okay, man. I don't think we need to see anyone's interview over again. I've been keeping pretty good notes. I think he's going to call in a minute. There he is.
All right,
So,
we've
Brian?
heard from everyone that we brought here today. There's still lots of things that aren't adding up or that simply don't make any sense at all.
Right.
And, most importantly, we still don't know exactly what happened to Daniel.
Right.
I think it's time we turned up the heat,
Uh-oh.
start poking some holes.
Let's do that.
I'm going to get Emma back in here first for another round. Let's see what we can squeeze out of her. I'll be back in the interview room with her in just a sec. All right. Bye.
All right, later. Copy that. All right, guys. This is where we end it. Okay. Interviews have been conducted. Who is your money on? If we had to iron this out right now, if we had to charge someone today on a charging document, who would it be? Charles Humphreys? The guy who jacked up Daniel at his doorstep in the suede corduroy type jacket? Was it Emma? Did she off him when she rushed out the house and ran into Janice? Was it Janice, who had gone through this before, knew where it was headed? We're going to take feelings out of the equation. Maybe she was just concerned seeing someone.
Sorry, I didn't understand that.
All right, I didn't call you Siri. Maybe Janice still has battered women syndrome and took it upon herself to take Daniel out. It's possible. That's who my money is on, Janice. Let me know who your money is on and why. Now, let's get to Rebecca Humphreys, the daughter. She's a wild card. We just saw her interview today, and there was a lot of information there. A lot of surprises there. She said he was an alcoholic. She said he had mental problems. No one else said that. Emma never said that. Emma was in a relationship with him. So now, is Rebecca trying to paint Daniel, the deceased, in some bad light, to make herself feel better for justifying what she possibly did, or laying the groundwork for a defense? I mean, I'm loving this right now because I have no idea what's going on. I like being in this situation right now where we have to figure something out, and the game is the simulator is not being forthcoming. So, and I don't want to be wrong. I don't want to be wrong. But like I said, my money right now is on Janice, the neighbor. All right, guys, be sure to let me know if you think it's Emma, if you think it's Janice, or if you think it's Rebecca. No, if you think it's Charles, if you think it's Janice, or if you think it's Rebecca. All right, I'm going to end it here. I don't want to make this one too long, and I will see you next episode.